Hi, welcome to another episode of 50 Shades of Over 50. And I have Lizzie Bermudez. I hope I pronounced
Bermudez,
that.
yes.
Yay, pronounced it right, as my special guest today. Welcome.
Hi, Kwavi. How are you?
I am doing so well. Thank you so much for being here.
Of course.
All right, let's go ahead and get started. So tell me,
Okay.
how old are you?
53 and a half.
Yay!
Woo!
So when's your birthday if you're 53 and a half?
January.
Oh, wow. Okay. Almost
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
Yay. All right. So I wanted to kind of talk about, all things aging and demystify this negative narrative around aging.
Okay.
So for you, what were your earliest struggles with this? Like, oh, did you just jump into it and say, I got this? Like, what was your experience?
It's funny. I think for me, the emotional came before the physical symptoms of
Mm,
perimenopause and menopause. And I've always been a very empathic human being. And I would say probably around 47,
mm,
around 47 years old, that's when I really started to get introspective and,
mm.
it was creeping up on 50. And a lot of people are like, I want a big party and I'm going to celebrate. And I was the complete opposite. I was like, no, I can't believe I'm going to be 50. I don't want to celebrate. But I also had, I think when you live this long,
Mm.
which is a privilege and a blessing,
Yes.
a lot of shit, excuse my language, starts to
Go
happen in
ahead.
life. And
Yes.
people, you go through some real stuff, the real shit
Yeah.
hits the fan.
Yeah.
And at about that time, I had some big things going on. I had
Mm.
my own perimenopause symptoms
Yeah.
and this whole thing about what now? What next?
Yes.
Is this what it looks like at midlife? Why did I think that there was going to be like rainbows and unicorns? And there isn't. My
Daffodils and all of that, right?
right. None of that was there. My father was very sick and was dying, and so
Oh,
helping a parent that's sick and
yeah.
dying is
Yeah.
no fun.
Yeah.
I had a teen daughter with severe mental health issues and was
Yeah.
um, suicidal at times, which
Yeah.
then brought on my own, mental health issues. So I
Yeah.
felt like I had this perfect storm going on.
Mm.
So for me, it was a lot of emotional stuff going on, going
All at the same
this all
time.
at the same
Wow.
time. And I'm like, are you kidding me? This time of my life sucks. This is
Yeah.
awful.
Awful.
And for
Yeah.
me, I joke now that I'm on the other side that there's this big midlife awakening. But when I stopped to really think about it, it was really, really difficult. I'm not
How,
even going to
how did you
sugarcoat
get
it.
through
It
that
was
though?
really
How did you
difficult
manage? How did you get through
because
that?
I mean, that you can do hard things. You
Yeah.
can get through
True.
these things and you know that
True.
they're going to pass. But I really believe that we need some type of, whether it's a spirit, whether it's a faith, whether, I'm Christian, so I do a
Yeah.
lot of prayer and
Yeah.
go to God for a lot of grace and guidance. But I feel like you need something
Oh, you definitely
to
do.
lift you from the depths because it felt like I was at my lowest of lows. Like I
Yeah.
can count on one hand how the lows of my
Wow.
life, and they happened all around
All
the
at the
same
same
time.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm with you with how you can feel that way. Listen, there are women that are not even going through any of that that
Right.
feel really low just because of what can happen when you're going through perimenopause or menopause, because it can change your moods like that.
Right. Right.
And then you begin to question, who am I? What am I doing here? I remember reading Gabrielle Union's book, and she said at the time when it was happening to her, she had suicidal thoughts and she thought something was wrong with her. She didn't know. And see, that's why we really have to talk more about some of
Right.
the symptoms that women can experience. And, it runs the gamut. There are so many symptoms, so
Yeah.
many. And
And
so,
and I think the hard thing is this is a blessing that we're able to get online and talk to
yes,
each other, meet people all over the world.
true.
On the flip side, there is so much information and there's a lot of misinformation. And
Yes,
you really have to take the information that works for you. Like there's not
true.
just one way to age and to do menopause
No,
at
there
all.
isn't.
Yeah.
No.
And I think sometimes it reminded me of the the whole battle women did of, did you work or did you stay home and raise your kids?
Oh,
Working versus non-working
no more
mom,
king. Yeah, or
right?
breastfeeding or formula. I mean,
Right.
it's
That's what
just
I
kind of
felt
stuff.
this
I'm
was
like,
like.
please,
Yeah. Are
you
you
can do both.
HRT or are you a non-HRT? Are
Oh
you on
yeah, exactly.
antidepressants or are you not on there was this,
It's a
everything became
battle.
very, very, yes, very black and white. And I don't think it's like that. And you really
No.
have to do what works for you and give
Yeah.
yourself some
Yeah.
grace during the
And it's
process.
interesting you should say the HRT. I just went to get my pellets this morning because I had
Uh-huh.
started doing them in August and I kind of did a lot of research around it. And I just decided, you know what? I need this. And so when
Yeah.
I did my blood work and everything, and my doctor's like, oh, you know what? You can, this can work for you. And I said, okay, let's try it out. And I'll tell you, the last 12 weeks have been amazing.
Yeah.
And so I went to get them again, another set today. But the thing is, you do you. It's the same thing with women who want to let their gray hair shine and other women
Right.
who want to cover it. Like,
Right.
you can do either or. And guess what? You can decide you want to be gray today. And you know what? Tomorrow you want to decide you want to, color it. It's like, it's
Right.
not an either or situation.
Right.
Um,
Right. I like to think that at this stage of the game, at this age, that we've got enough life experience and wisdom and
mm,
confidence, right? That
yes.
be confident doing you and
Yes.
embrace it all.
Yes, because aging, it doesn't come in one size. It's not a one
No.
size fits all. People age differently. And when we can get off this comparison roller coaster, which society loves to do, it's like, oh,
Right.
you need to do this so you can look like this. I'm like,
Or
wait, wait,
don't wear that. You can wear this.
this. I'm like, who said? I remember there was one post you put, and I still find that fascinating that they would even put that women shouldn't wear jeans.
I
And
know.
I'm like, seriously. I'm like, listen, whoever put that in, they
Right.
need to really rethink that because if women over 50 stop wearing jeans, listen, you guys will lose a lot of money. I'm just saying,
Right.
because
Right.
we have a lot of purchasing power. I'm like, where'd you even come up with stories like that?
Yeah. Or they shouldn't wear shorts or they
I
shouldn't wear
know.
skirts or mini dresses. It just,
And then your hair shouldn't be long after certain. I'm
right.
like, really? I'm like, okay, you know what? We're not listening to that anymore. Now, I do know that there are some women that believe in all of that and they take that, but I also want women to realize that society doesn't dictate what you wear.
Exactly.
You dictate what you want to wear,
Exactly.
you know.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more, Kwavi.
I mean, it's like let's really talk about those types of things and I think we have so much experience, we have so much wisdom, we can make decisions for ourselves. I was reading an article, it was something about aging and talking about how women right now, we should take our authority back. Growing up, we would look up to, in most, at least in Western, in Western culture, typically the person of authority would be a white, older man. Guess
Uh-huh.
what? You can be your own authority right now. You have lived, you have experience. Quit looking for people outside of you to make decisions for you. We have
Right.
earned the right to make our own decisions. Like,
We are. And you
seriously.
know what? I just got back from a menopause symposium,
Yes.
and women are owning this space. I think for the first
Yes.
time the
Yes.
tide is changing.
Yes, it is.
Women that would traditionally be competition are realizing that we can all rise together,
Together.
which is such
Yes.
a beautiful thing,
It's
right?
beautiful. Oh my goodness. I mean, when you can work with one another,
Right.
it's like we're collaborating now, no
And
longer okay.
there's enough to go around for
Oh my goodness.
everybody.
There's more than enough, really.
I
There is
know.
more than
Yeah.
enough to go around. And so
Yeah.
that way of thinking of, oh no, if she gets it, then she's going to take from me. Like,
Right.
no, we need to change that way of thinking. It's so different now.
Yeah.
We're here to support one another.
Right.
It's just so different. But for you though, like with menopause, like what was it? Were there some symptoms that just stood out to you, or did you and did you even know beforehand what to expect?
I started to suspect I was in perimenopause when I was having those horrific menstrual cycles.
Mm.
I mean, it made me think, took me back to my, junior high days
Oh,
where I would not wear white. I was like sometimes wearing a pad and a tampon, looking at the
just
clock.
to
I'm like,
make sure.
okay, it's
Yeah.
been 30 minutes, got to go. It was at one point, I'm
Yeah.
like, do I need to go to the doctor? I have never bled this much
Yeah.
in my life. So
Mm.
there was a period where that was happening and there was this irregularity and my hair started to fall out. I was losing a lot of
Mm.
hair.
Wow.
Um, and then my doctor was like, yeah, you are within that
Yeah.
age window that this is happening, and the mood swings. And then I had to
Yeah.
have a hysterectomy,
Oh,
and
wow.
that will take you into
Into
menopause
it, like, yeah.
as soon as you come out of the OR. Yeah. So for me, it was
Yeah.
very pronounced that I would say that
Yeah.
first year and a half was
Hmm.
was brutal. I'm not
Yeah.
gonna lie. It was not
Yeah.
fun just to go. I don't think either is fun or easy when you have a lot of symptoms. And it's funny,
Yeah.
I talk a lot about menopause and some of the not so
Yeah.
pleasant symptoms. And I have a girlfriend who just DM'd me saying, I'm learning so much, but I have to admit, I didn't have any menopause symptoms.
Yeah. There are people that don't.
And it's like 25, I read somewhere 25% of women do not have any
Any.
menopause.
Yeah.
And I hate you. No, I'm
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah. Actually, I interviewed a lady today, and it's going to come out in a few weeks. She had none, but then
Oh,
she also shared with me that her mother had none.
yeah.
And there's an 80% chance that you'll go through the same symptoms that your mother went through. Her mother had none and she had none. And so it's
And I think
interesting.
I'm wondering if it's tied to pregnancy either, because I asked my girlfriend, I said, how are your pregnancies? And she said, I cruised through them. They were no problem.
How about your
And
pregnancies?
I had every pregnancy symptom on the planet. Ended up having 2
Interesting.
C-sections. And oh yeah,
Yeah, I
it was
had two C-sections too.
it
Yeah, I
was
had all
not
kinds of,
fun. Yeah.
yeah. So, but people go through it differently. And then sometimes it's early. Like I started getting my symptoms, goodness, I was like 41,
Uh-huh.
and so no one really knew. And mine was adult acne. Oh my goodness. Talk about
Yeah, I
it
got
was
some of that too.
terrible. Woo wee. It was like my whole face. It was
And you
like,
would get the cystic acne
that
too.
was what I got. It was painful. You can't even touch your face. Oh
Right.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Mm.
I know. And you're like, how is it that I'm getting older and I'm dealing with adult acne?
That's okay. And see, that's the thing for me because as a teenager, I had none. I was like, yeah, I missed it. I didn't get any acne. And then at 41, it shows up on my door. I'm like, no, you are not invited. I did not call for you. What is
Yeah.
going on?
Or
I'm
this,
like,
or the sweating, the perspiring. Like
yeah,
I have purchased every type of deodorant on the
yeah,
planet. I've used
yeah.
my husband's, my daughter. I'm just like, what is happening to me? I smell so
So,
gross.
okay,
I'm
so that's the
sweating
thing.
so much.
But that's okay. So that's interesting. You should say, because I'm not even perspiring as much. But when I do,
Uh-huh.
the smell, I'm like,
Yeah.
what is this?
Yeah. It is a very humbling time.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Because you're like, if I can smell it, then people around me.
Yes, that's how I'm like, is that me? Oh my God. And that's why, and Kwavi, that's why the stuff that I put on, that I share on Instagram,
Uh-huh.
there's a lot of truth, but I also sprinkle in a lot of humor because I think
Yeah.
you have to
You
laugh
have to
at a
laugh at
lot of
it.
this, and there has to
Yeah.
be some levity and not
Of course.
take it so serious.
Oh, yeah.
Otherwise, it will
Oh, yeah.
really take you out for the
It will
count.
take you out
Yeah.
because these are, I mean, these symptoms are real. And
Yeah.
sometimes, debilitating in some cases.
Right. Right.
So you have to find the humor in it. And also for those listening, this is the other thing. Please find help. Like there is
Oh,
help available because I think some women just suffer in silence because maybe because really there are women out there that would tell you, oh no, you just get through it. And
I have now seen, my gynecologist for
yes,
HRT to
yeah,
talk about how to improve my sex life. I've seen a pelvic floor therapist
yeah,
related to sex. I've seen a therapist for mental health. I mean, you
exactly.
really have to go and
Really.
deal with it and
Yeah, you
take
have
it on
to.
and get the help that you need. Yeah. There's
Seriously.
no sense in suffering. I mean, I did
No,
that for
there's
a
none.
period.
There's none.
Because there's a
And
lot of shame because women don't
that's
talk about
it.
it.
That's it.
There's shame and embarrassment.
And we're like dealing with it on our own. Like, listen, we can do hard things. There's no
Right.
doubt about that. But you can do hard things and also ask for help.
Right.
There is no shame in asking for help because I think we have this, oh no, we can't. You can ask for help.
Yeah.
This is serious and this is not something you can just say, okay, now I'll just deal with it. Why would you want to do that when there's help
Yeah.
available? And the other thing is if you do go to a doctor and because we know what we know what we know. And if for any reason you feel that your symptoms are being dismissed, please find another doctor. You
Right.
don't have to stick with that doctor. You can go to
Right.
someone else. Because
Right.
sometimes I think as women, we're like, oh, but they're the ones in authority. They said it would go.
No, you have to be
No,
your own advocate when it comes to
for
your own
sure.
health and
Oh,
medical care.
yes.
Yeah.
I definitely agree with that.
Right.
Hands down. You have
Right.
to be your own health advocate. You said it so perfectly. Like,
And then
really.
the other thing that I've had to to get people on board is my family, like explaining to my husband,
Yeah.
because I think all he ever thought of was just like hot flashes. That was it.
But that's what
I wish
most people
that's
think.
I wish
Mhm.
that's all it would be.
I
But
know.
having the patience to explain to him and educate him and my teen daughters,
Yes.
that has been a process, because
Yeah.
they know nothing about it. They
They
just
know.
want to laugh it off. They're like, God, why is
Mhm.
mom such a raging blankety blank, you know? And one minute she's laughing, and the next minute she's
That she's
not, and she's
crying
rolling
or
around.
something. It's just
Yeah,
different. It's like hot and cold.
right,
But this is real. Like you
right.
emotionally, it's just, it's
And then
almost
this,
like,
and the sex part too, the intimacy
oh,
part. I mean, it
oh,
affects
that was
every
crazy. It,
facet
no,
of your life.
listen, that was a shocker for me. I had no, listen, I wish someone had told me. No one gave me the heads up. Like I had no idea that for some of us, it just goes all the way
Right,
down. It
right.
becomes so painful. You're
Yeah.
itching. It's just crazy. I'm like, whoa, what happened overnight? Like seriously. So, but there's help though.
It is. I remember just going, are the wheels coming off? What in God's name is
It's
happening?
happening.
Right? You're like, I've got urinary leakage, but
That's
then
it.
I'm
You laugh
dry as the desert. Sex doesn't feel the same. I
at
have
all.
zero libido. I'm
Zero
moody.
desire.
I'm exhausted. My hair's falling out. I have adult
You can't
acne. I
remember stuff.
smell. I can't remember anything. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
All at once. Yeah.
Eh,
Listen, that leakage thing is real. It doesn't happen to me, but I have friends,
Yeah.
they can't even laugh.
I know.
It's
Yeah.
and so for those listening, please, if you're going through any of these and you recognize, you're like, oh, is that what that is? That's what it
Right.
is.
Yeah.
And if it gets if it becomes unbearable, get help.
Yeah.
There's help available in so many different ways. But I will let women know that one of the things I have seen, for at least for most of my clients, is one area of something that you can do on your own to begin with is find a way to clean up your diet. Your diet has an
Yeah.
effect. Like for me, and this might not apply to everyone, but I actually gave up alcohol because of my symptoms, and it made a big difference.
I'm having this conversation a lot right now, because I think I might have to, or at least go on hiatus,
Yeah.
because I'm doing what do I stand to gain? What am I losing if I
Mhm.
go out and tear it up one night with the girls or some
Um,
couples? It
yeah.
takes me out for 48 hours, Kwavi.
It's ridiculous. I'm telling you that. I tell people because people are like, "What?" I'm like, listen, my overall health and well-being is way more important. I can't do this anymore.
Yep.
And it's not even a lot. It just takes you out. I'm like,
Right,
what is this? And
right.
so I said, you know what, I'm like, I'm done. Listen, and I tell people, listen, don't worry, I'll still have fun with you. I just won't be having
Right.
it with alcohol.
And I have found that my body just takes a lot longer to metabolize the alcohol. So
Yes.
I can go out and think I'm fine, and it will feel like the next morning that I've woken up and I'm drunk,
Yeah,
which
exactly.
then I blow a whole day of trying to recuperate, which
Recovered.
is
Yeah. Hmm.
horribly unproductive. And then you just feel awful and gross.
It's
Yeah.
just it's just so interesting how our bodies change. And you're like, but I used to be able to do all this and this
Yeah.
before. And now you do it and you're like, the body's like, well, hold up. I don't think you can do that like that anymore.
I think women, there's a lot of pressure. There's a lot of pressure from
Oh goodness.
society about looking how you did. Those, it was all over social media, like
Yeah.
me 20 years ago, me now, and me this and me now.
Mm.
And I think women are just so hard on themselves. Like,
Let go.
you're allowed to age.
Age. And we all age differently. Let
Right.
it go. Like
Right.
it doesn't, I mean, really, why does it matter? Like, really,
Yeah.
the whole physical thing of you have to look a certain way, like, really? Like, we all age differently. And I think once women begin to let go of those expectations, listen, it makes it so much easier because you no
Yeah.
longer have that exhausted feeling all the time. You're trying to keep up, you're trying to do, you can't do it all. Like, just let it go and
Yeah.
just be you. Like, seriously, when you decide to be you, oh, it's a
And
beautiful feeling. It's beautiful. I'm
right,
telling you.
right. You're like, what you see is what you get. This is
What you get,
this is
listen,
it.
hey, you're expecting something else. Well, this is it. I mean it. I love it. And I want women to know that it's possible for them. Because sometimes
Yeah,
people say, oh, well, it's just because you're who you are. Listen, we all have our innate beings of who we
right,
are in the, from the core. And so
right.
trying to be like someone else, you're just gonna always keep on doing that. Just let go and decide, okay, this is how I am. Today I can be this way. The next day I can be all rugged or whatever. But you know what? It's me. Let
And
it go.
I think the other thing that compounds all this, like I said, I felt like I had the perfect storm going on. I
Yeah.
also was getting aged out and pushed out of the work that I've
That's
always done.
interesting. Okay, so that's another area of it. Yes.
Right. So you've got everything just being thrown at you, and you're like, really? It's
Yeah,
all converging all at once. And it is a lot. It really
it
is.
is.
And I would say my confidence took
Gets
a
rattled, right?
huge beating. Oh yeah, because of all the physical symptoms,
Yeah.
and then the workplace saying, thanks for your service, but not, like we're going to go in a different direction now.
Yeah.
And I worked in an industry that was very youth based
Oh,
and
yeah.
how you look,
It wasn't,
and
yeah.
my look and my age is definitely not in demand. So there was a lot of fear in going, what? I'm going to go online now and start creating content for women at midlife. Why would anybody listen to me? Does anybody really, you start believing all the toxic stuff that's around you. And
Yeah.
that was a process too.
Yeah. But I'm so glad that you're putting all this stuff out because that's how I found you. And I
And
think it's
I found
important.
you because you were dancing around Instagram somewhere. I'm like, oh my God, this woman's energy is so infectious. Always with that big, beautiful smile,
Thank
always
you.
arms in the air, dance. And I love to
I'm
laugh and
like,
dance.
listen, and because I was speaking with the other guest I had earlier, we are talking about the same thing about social media and how, you get some people that be like, why are you doing this at your age and all that? And you know what? And you know why? Because I can.
Because I can and I want to. So there.
Yeah. It's like, yeah. Let go of the rules. You can decide, you can redefine what the rules are for you. You have that power, and don't let society determine that for you. Society is always going to be in this youth obsessed bubble. I
Right.
don't know when they're going to get over it, but right
They
now that's
won't.
where they
Yeah.
are.
Right.
So, but we get to redefine what over 50, 60, 70, and 80 and beyond means to us.
Right.
We can define that for ourselves. We don't have
It
to believe what
definitely
they believe.
takes a mindset shift,
Yes.
though.
Oh, a
Because
big man. Yes,
I
it
was
does.
stuck. I was stuck in the best days of my life are behind me. I'm
Right.
washed up in my career. What am I going to do
Do next.
now?
Mm-hmm.
Blah, 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 blah. And all this negative self talk. And I'm finally at the point where, like, I'm excited about
Yes.
what's ahead. I definitely look at this second half of life as it's no guarantee. I
Yeah.
really don't know how many more years I have, but I
Yeah.
hope it's a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm excited about the prospect of what's out there
Yes.
now. Once I've gotten this and this all
Yeah.
back in alignment,
Yeah.
I'm excited for
I'm
what's
with
ahead.
you. And that's why I love the work that I do with women, helping them rediscover for themselves, your purpose, your passion in life, so that you
Yeah.
can live this best life, whatever that means to you. It's like
Right.
this next chapter can even be way more exciting than your past. Like, what
Right.
determines that? You can do that. You can decide, I'm going to redefine who I am now. Like, you get that. And I think
Yeah.
that's just a beautiful and exciting thing to think about. Yeah. But I'm so excited. I'm so glad we had this conversation. I think it's really important and I know it's going to help a lot of women. But before we go, any parting words that you'd like to share with the people listening?
Oh, any parting words? So anybody who's near and dear to me that knows me, my friends, my close friends and my family, um, everybody's like, oh, how do you stay so, vibrant and young and healthy and the zest for life? And I'm like, well, that's a lot of work. But there is one thing that is a constant. There is a
Mm,
constant, and that is laughter. And I
mm,
mean, anybody who's been out with me knows I laugh. When I'm not laughing, I'm out of sync. And I
mm.
really think it's key. It's a natural dose of medicine that we can all
Oh,
inject into our lives.
yes.
Um, I got this basic prescription for joy when me and my daughter were going through the mental health issues or in a
Yes.
really, really bad way.
Yeah.
And my therapist said, let's just look for one piece of joy, one piece of laughter in the day. Even if it's not you making each other laugh, go out and seek some laughter.
Yes.
And that could mean going onto YouTube, looking at
Yeah.
TikTok.
True.
And
Yeah.
so we've kept that. I mean, there are times where we sit on the sofa and we'll put on whatever stupid show there is,
Yeah.
but something that makes
Aw.
us like a good gut laugh where it hurts your
Those
stomach.
are good though. Those laughs are so good though.
Right? Like that's mandatory. Like some people, I wish I could feel this way about exercising, but I don't. But for me, it's like that's, you know, how you have these fitness people like you exercise all the time and it's like part of your daily routine. Laughing, like having a good laugh is essential to my overall well-being. So I tell people, like, don't take life so seriously. I know there's a lot of serious shit and I know it's hard.
True.
Inject some joy and laughter.
Yes.
Just one little bit and start small.
I know. Oh, I love this.
And bigger and bigger. So that would be my one piece of
advice. Oh yeah. Laughter is good. I love the laughter thing. Oh my goodness. I love that. Especially when you really laugh, like you feel it from like the pit of your stomach.
And I come from a long line of laughers in my family, my grandfathers, my aunties, my sisters. So when we're together, it's just
I'm sure it's so much fun though.
So much fun. Yeah, so much fun indeed.
I could definitely see that. But thank you so much for coming on the show. Really appreciate it. And for those listening, I hope you got something out of this. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see all of you next week. All right, take care. Bye. If you enjoyed listening to this show, you have to take a look at Flourish, my online global community exclusively for women in their 50s and beyond. We talk about the important issues affecting women in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and beyond in a safe and non-judgmental environment. We also provide the tools and resources to help you create your best life on your own terms. It's never too late and you're not too old. Go to the link below to learn more.